Hello, welcome to How to DM the World. Welcome, my name is Jacob, the amazing one. Jake, beautiful man, and this is my co-host.
I'm Eric.
He's Eric.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, you're not supposed to say anything more than that.
Simple, down on the ground.
Stop talking. Shut up. Okay, so we are going to be talking about bards today. Bards come in many flavors, sizes, and shapes, specifically in 5 archetypes. But before that, we have my favorite segment of this show, the fake viewer question. It's a viewer question from... We definitely have viewers, right? I rip stuff out of my ass. Okay, so the question for this episode, or at least it's a way... See, we have viewers. Good. So we have a question here. What's up with the schedule for this show? As I always say, this is my favorite almost weekly released D&D podcast that is not weekly released at all.
You could say that.
We had some amount of ambition in the beginning to do it once, maybe a month or something, and then that got thrown out of the window because the life is happening, right? Like, you started a full-time job, and I started university again, and as I would argue, I'm the main producer here. This is my apartment we're filming in. I do the editing. I have some mental things that I'm dealing with, which sadly means we don't get to do this as much as we want. But we really enjoy doing this, so expect more than this.
I'm the best supportive cast.
He's legitimately really great. Like, usually I've been doing the live docs. This time he made the majority of it, and it was wonderful. Thank you. From my heart to your heart, thank you. Good. So, let's get started on our main topic. My favorite class. Can we start off by explaining our own personal biases here? Can you give me one of the 4 instruments over there? Just the first one. Yeah. So this is my acoustic guitar. I've been playing not on this instrument, but on instruments since I was 10. So that's 12 years now or something. So I'm a musician. I enjoy public speaking. I would argue that I'm a level 2 bard. Put it back.
I hate you.
I love you. Right. Bards are my bread and butter. Very aggressively. You, on the other hand.
I certainly have a certain bias towards them, but that's more because I usually see the stereotype of the bard, the really big goofball. And while I like the bards described in D&D, I sometimes have a certainty of disliking the stereotype of the complete goofball to just ruin immersion.
Right.
But otherwise, I think they're a great addition, and I think they have some incredible useful features and amazing detail to storytelling, if one can pull it off.
I was at first very skeptical of bards. I loved them, but in my head I couldn't see how a weird-ass musician telling dumb jokes would fit into The Lord of the Rings. 2 things. There are bards in The Lord of the Rings, they just don't play music. Second of all, most D&D games are not Lord of the Rings.
True.
At least I can speak to the fact that the games I run and play in are a lot more comical, so to say. And that's okay.
Yeah, sure it is.
And that doesn't mean you can touch on serious subjects. Bards do not prevent that. And outside of that, I think they are such a versatile class. I just love them so much.
Their versatility is definitely what is the big part of being a bard. While I do tend to run a bit more serious games than you, I don't mind comical timings and comical events happening, just in a far less and broad term, frequency in general. I think that the bards in general have some of the best potential to be anything they want. You want to make any kind of spellcasting character, this is your go-to, if you ask me.
If I wanted to play the lead like main character in most action movies, I would play a Valor Bard.
The general anime character?
Like, not even just that, like Bruce Willis.
Oh, yeah.
And like any like action character in a war movie, like running up, hey, he's shooting at you, go and cover, right? All that, like yelling at people and being a general badass and being able to do everything, right?
Yeah. The skill monkey quite commonly falls into the hands of either the bard or the rogue, but the bard does it better.
So one of the things I have here in a wonderful document that I really liked and want to bring in is these fucking books are actually very, very good. There's not just how the classes actually play out in there. There is also a bunch of flavor stuff, and I like reading that. And I brought a bit of it in here. So I'm going to read a small quote because I feel like it explains what bards are all about. So, quote start. Bards say that the multiverse was spoken into existence, that the words of the gods gave it shape, and that the echoes of those primordial words of creation still resound throughout the cosmos. The music of bards is an attempt to snatch and harness those echoes, subtly woven into their spells and powers. I love how that portrays them. Because they don't study shit. They don't have innate powers. They're just like, oh, I noticed this. If I do this thing, this happens.
They have a certain natural talent, but also in the flavor, it actually tells that they study hard.
Like
actually, with
the archetypes are called colleges,
and for a reason. Some of them are literal colleges.
All bards are in depth. Like that's how it works.
Oh God. Can never earn money off education.
Yeah, you can't earn money off busking. Let's be fair. Like they study very hard because they are in essence a like tradesmen.
Yeah,
right.
It's a craft.
Yeah, and that is what being a musician or performer or whatever they are is, right? And especially a storyteller, which is the primary thing. And I love this note in the PHP. Most bards in the worlds of D&D aren't classes. Like they aren't the class bards.
They're just entertainers.
Yeah. Like your local Saturday Night Live open mic stand-up comedian is not a bard. Michael Jackson fucking was. Right? He could definitely charm people. There was some magical shit going on.
Are you sure?
What? That vocal components aren't subtle. Let's look at some famous archetypes for bards. The first one has its roots in Fae and the culture of fairy, the like deceptive trickster from.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like the one I would think about here is Loki from Northern mythology.
Agreeable. Also Odin. Odin is also actually
Odin is
deceptive trickster.
Oh yeah, like, but in a less famous and more subtle way.
Agreed.
Which is very interesting, and seeing because if I remember correctly, Loki is Odin's half-child. It depends.
Depends.
Let's not talk religion
Marvel
right now.
Or going with Norse mythology.
Marvel is incorrect. That's
yes.
We have opinions. We are Danish, but the whole that character that smiles and looks confident and has some grand plan going on.
Oh, the schemes! You never stop the schemes.
Yeah, or just going for the more chaotic, neutral line. Just what would happen if I did this?
Yes, they're the kind of guys that likes to see the consequences of their actions and generally trick people to do into different
I feel
scenarios.
Like my Skyrim character was a deceptive trickster, right? Ran around, stole from people, just made up weird situations. What would happen if I did that? Oh, he won't notice if I steal from him if I put a bucket over his head. Like finding those ways to like abuse the system in some way.
Yeah.
Right. And then on the other fucking side of the coin, because the deceptive trickster in its essence doesn't want you to know that they're fucking with you.
No, they don't. They want to be
Then we have the glamorous artist.
That's the show off.
Like
definitely the show off.
I don't have a great example of this. But But I imagine a blonde elf with long hair just like dancing through the battlefield, like tripping people.
Yeah, or an entertainer living their life in the courtrooms or the higher up places like the castles of medieval
Michael Jackson, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Or just any celebrity in general with a certain charisma.
Like
could be considered.
Kim Kardashian is a bard. Right.
She's not a very good spellcasting, but the charm she got is going.
Right, yeah, and making sure that she stays relevant and presents herself as something larger than life, right? And has this very, like the glamorous artist has this very fascinating aura about them, right?
Yeah, they shine wherever they go. They fill up the room, so to say.
Yeah. They might also just smell, but that's part of the, mystery around them, right?
Don't overdo perfume.
Please don't. So we talked about Lord of the Rings definitely fucking has bards. And this was a thing. This was not on me. I love Lord of the Rings. I have read the books and seen the movie. I really like it. I've seen the movie, the one Lord of the Rings movie.
Sure. Go into the trilogy, mate.
Oh, the first one is the only good one, man. So this is a thing you noticed, and my reaction was yes. So,
yeah, they are.
Yeah, throw it out.
So Merry and Pippin.
Yeah.
I would kind of consider them bards. They don't really start off that way, but the cheery personality fits in with the goofball, and by the end, I think it's Pippin who goes actually to become what we would consider a valor bard.
Like, he goes in and fights.
Yeah.
And like the definite example I see of this is in that city that's flooded, and they're sitting in there smoking whatever the fuck it is they're smoking, drinking whatever alcohol they found in there, and one of the inns just sees them and is like, what the fuck are you doing? And they just befriend him for some fucking reason and comments, oh yeah, shit's fucked up, we're the good guys, please help. Right? And just talk them. They end up in these fucked up situations and just
end up talking their way out of it, most of them.
Because second breakfast is a good example.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's really, really cool.
And another certain example from the Marvel series, though, is if we're going to talk about bards, is Star-Lord. I would say that most Marvel characters currently are charisma characters, but Star-Lord definitely has things going for him.
I haven't seen the second Guardians of the Galaxy movies, a lot of the Marvel movies. I don't read the comics. Star-Lord is an amazing bard. Like, fuck. Just the opening movie, like, scene of Guardians of the Galaxy, where he's, like, listening to the music and dancing, and there's, like, action going on, kind.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and isn't the climax of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie him tricking a person
into a dance battle?
Right, like, a large fucking battle escalates. He's standing in front of the big bad guy. He has an item he really needs. Or he has an item the bad guy needs, I don't remember. But he somehow fucking talks his way out of it by dancing and being an idiot.
He's definitely the smooth talker, and he's like filling in the rooms wherever he go. But he also kind of the underdog.
Yeah.
He relies a bit on his cunning and his personality to get his way.
And that's the kind of characters bards allow for.
The flexibility allows for so much. To be honest.
A thing I've noticed about bards is they're often the kind of characters where I sit down and we're doing combat and they have a turn. I'm like, what did you just say to me? You're going to do what? Right? They have so many weird abilities and just like, oh, I fucking guess so. You are now a Velociraptor. So the best part about bards is that, let's get this out of the way. Their verbal components can be done in many ways.
Yes.
Some sing, some play music, some tell silly fucking jokes. All of them are valid. You don't have to do anything. It is okay. You do not have to be a bard to play a bard.
Yeah.
Let's just...
It's not depth set in that you need to play instruments on the battlefield.
Yeah. And also as like a player.
Yeah.
You don't have to do any of that. there might be some pressure on you, and that's not supposed to be there. That's not good.
I'm musical inept.
Yeah.
So.
And like, don't let that stop you from playing a bard.
Oh, there's different ways to go about them.
I don't let my being a fat ass prevent me from being a badass rogue. You not being a musician shouldn't prevent you from playing the greatest musician of all time.
That's the fun part of D&D.
And you can always do what I do. Whenever you give inspiration, just be a dick. It's my favorite joke. I remember you guys stumbled upon a bard in my my old campaign, and he was a painter. And I remember how he cast Vicious Mockery. He looked at them very intensely, drew something on a sketchpad, and turned it around. It was a very beautiful stick figure drawing with a poop on their head. They took damage.
I felt sad.
It was beautiful. So, bards can be many things, but there's
some common tropes for the playstyles.
So we have three archetypes written down here. The first one is team support, like focusing on buffs and debuffs.
Being the full spellcaster in general.
Right.
It was
less battlefield controlling than a wizard, but more buffing and debuffing, right?
More focusing on the allies.
Especially enchantment magic and stuff like that.
That's most commonly used on the enemies, though. Yeah. I would say that 5th E allows for more combat-oriented or battle-controlling bards than 3.5.
I have no experience with 3.5, but that would not surprise me.
There was a bit more luck down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, they can get a little around, and the general built-in kit with Bardic Inspiration that we're going to talk about later is also
Bardic
great.
Inspiration is wonderful for that. And that helps, and we have all-rounder written down. Like someone who can do anything. Right? And that means can go up in combat and fight with weapons and armor and stuff like that, as well as doing some amount of spell casting.
Or going around persuading their way into a royal party.
Like, bards are an amazing party face. And so there's like the support and there's the all-rounder, and then there's one that really fascinates me, the skill monkey. Someone who just is good at skills.
Everything.
And the difference between that and a all-rounder is that where all-rounders are very like balanced in their skills, the skill monkey is very much, I am very good at these specific things.
And specifically out of combat most of the time.
Right, yeah.
Most of the skill monkey's ability will be useful out of combat.
Yeah.
Whether it be stealth or persuasion, or they be going
animal
into
handling for some fucking reason. Animal handling is a useful skill, don't at me.
I won't judge, I like it.
And that is enabled by expertise and inspiration.
And the general in having more skills than most other common classes.
One thing that's very interesting with the Bard skill monkey is that they don't just make themselves very good at it. They still are, like, in their core a support, so they are able to transfer some of that skill monkeyness, right?
Yeah. But they're definitely, if they want to do something, if a skill monkey-oriented Bard wants to do something, he will do it.
Right.
In general terms of speaking.
Yeah. If a Bard wants to disappear, they will fucking disappear. Right. Invisibility and expertise, and you're effing gone.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely. So, that's the general overview. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the base class and talk about that. We're going to cover all the mechanics very shortly and talk about them. Some will dive deeper in because there's more ground to cover, right? And then we're gonna focus more on what does this actually mean. So I'm gonna rip my book out, and what's the first thing bards have, my friend?
Spellcasting. They have full progression spellcasting, which is a wonderful thing, especially when your spellcasting modifies charisma.
Yes, full spellcasting is just good. Small detail to note, like sorcerers, they work on a spells known basis instead of a preparation system. So bards know an amount of spells described by their level, and they always know them, and that's the spells they have. They can switch one whenever they level up, and that's fine.
Yeah, sure. The good thing about that is that you don't have to prepare spells. Sometimes you want to just have those spells, and then you're done with it.
You don't have to fucking deal with it. That's so nice.
Also.
They have a very small amount of cantrips.
Yes, they're on par with warlocks in cantrips, unless the warlocks go for chains of tome.
Yeah. A small thing to mention there, warlocks cantrips are a lot better.
Yeah, Eldritch Blast. We're gonna discuss that.
Eldritch
that
Blast
episode.
versus Vicious Mockery. What would you want?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So another thing Eric told me right before the pre-show, he was like, "Oh yeah, while reading this, I discovered that they have ritual casting."
No, I knew that already, but it just came to me by surprise.
You're a fucking I did not notice. So I was like, I did not know that. So I'm going to quickly list all the bard spells with ritual tags that they can learn. Comprehend languages, detect magic, identify, illusory script, speak with animals, unseen servant, animal messenger, locate animals or plants, magic mouth, silence, skywrite, feign death, and Leomon's tiny hut. Those are spells that you can cast without expending a spell slot.
Yes. And then
That's fucking amazing.
Then comes the funny thing when you get.
Let's actually cover magical secrets now.
Yeah, because fun thing about the ritual casting, it's when you get the magical secrets, which you will gain further down the line.
The way ritual casting is worded is you can cast any bard spell you know as a ritual if that spell has the ritual tag. In level 10 as a bard, you learn 2 new spells from any class. They are now bard spells for you.
Yes.
That means if they are ritual spells, you can also cast them.
And as far as I remember, all ritual spells, most ritual spells are generally 5th level or lower. So at level 10, you could technically pick nearly through all ritual spells.
And ritual spells are usually they aren't combat spells. They are like versatility spells, and they are
utility.
Very utility spells, and they are very, very narrow in their use. But that's fucking handy. Second thing, magical secrets is so good.
It's what I love about the class, to be honest.
It's
what makes you
so good.
Able to do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can be like, I want counterspell. I want this thing also. It's very interesting. Note, you also get magical secrets in level 18.
Yeah.
You get 2 more. So, magical secrets is really cool and honestly my favorite part about Bards.
Yeah, I agree.
It's so great. It really adds to the flavor of that's oh yeah, I know a bit about healing. Fuck, I guess. Resurrection.
I guess I'll do this now.
Yeah, I really love that. Let's go on to Bardic Inspiration.
Which is the bread and butter for nearly anyone playing a bard.
Yeah, that is if you describe a bard, you're like, okay, they're a spellcaster with Bardic Inspiration. That's the description, right? It's very important.
It's a good ability, just a bonus action to a friendly creature within 60 feet of you, and you give them a die.
They have to hear you.
But of course.
So you give them a die, and then within the next 10 minutes in game, they can roll that die and add it onto one rolled ability check, attack roll, or saving throw they make.
Yes.
All of the Bard subclasses have a different way to use it, if I remember.
Yes, some of them use it offensively against enemy creatures, and others still buff their allies. Yeah. It depends.
It's in general, it's just like, hey, you are about to do something important. Go do that really good.
Yes. The good thing about the Bardic Inspiration, what helps the Bard stay relevant at later levels, are that when it starts, you get a D6. At around, I think
at 5th level, it's a D8. At 10th level, it's a D10. At 15th level, it's a D12.
Yes. And when you get a D12 to ability check or attack roll, you have a certainty of doing well.
That's a +7, basically.
Yes.
Hey, fat fuck in armor. You need to be stealthy right now. inspiration, right? Oh, you really need to get free of that grapple on your turn. Inspiration, right? It's
And a matter of fact,
so
it's a good bonus action use in general. It's
Bards
so good.
rarely use their bonus action unless they have like
A spell for it, like
Yeah.
Misty Step.
or Sanctuary or Healing Word or something like that.
Yes.
It's such a good bonus action.
And the Bardic Inspiration itself just lays up to the Bardic play because it scales with your Charisma. The amount of Bardic Inspiration you have is equal to a Charisma modifier.
Yeah.
For starters, in the lower levels, it recharges on long rest. Currently.
Yeah, and I think
It's at level 5. You get it where it recharges to short rest. It's the Font of Inspiration. It's right there in your book.
oh yeah, that's a really interesting way to do that.
And coupled with a lot of other abilities that we will get to in a moment.
Yeah.
Just after Jack of all trades.
Yeah, like the next ability on here is Jack of all trades. So, the skill system in D&D. With a skill, you are either proficient or not proficient. That means whenever you do a check, you get to add your proficiency modifier or you don't. Jack of all trades says, fuck that. Are you proficient? Sweet. Are you not? You get to add half your proficiency modifier. At the beginning, that's a +1.
Yeah, but at higher levels, it's a +3.
Yeah, just a +3 to everything you're not proficient at. Only spell checks, though. Only spell checks, but...
Spell you mean ability?
Ability checks. Sorry, skill checks was what I wanted to say, but yes.
Good.
Yeah. Any ability checks.
Yes.
That includes initiative. Oh, and when you are like using the spell magic, that's also a skill, an ability check. Counter spell is also an ability check.
If it's higher level?
Not count. If you don't just outright
don't
counter
just
it,
outright counter it.
or outright dispel it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The next...
But the secret tech is initiative. And the next is Song of Rest.
Which, again, adapt the Bard to being a great short rest class because it's supportive.
It
ability.
is not amazing. It is not... You're not going to be, oh, I want Song of Rest, therefore I'm going to play a Bard. But it's a really good bonus.
It's a good bonus and it's early. That's the great point about it. It helps the party survive in tough situations.
Yeah, and it's like, if we take a short rest and you regain any hit dice using you regain any hit points using your hit dice, you just get an extra d6.
Yeah, and it
dice also increases.
Further increases up to a d12 at later levels. It's not much, but it's
still
helpful.
Really good.
If you don't have a lot of hit dice to spend at the end of a short rest after a hard campaigning day, it's useful.
It's also just, oh, I only have to spend 1 hit dice instead of 2, right? Because on long rest you only get half yours back, right?
Yep.
So it really adds up. I have at least noticed, I have been like, oh, thank God we have that on more than one occasion.
I'm not harsh.
Yeah. So, expertise. This is my fucking favorite ability in this, favorite feature in this game. At 3rd level, choose 2 of your skill proficiencies. Your proficiency is doubled. That means, oh, I'm proficient in stealth. So we add our dex modifier, which is, let's say, +2, and our
proficiency bonus, which is
that's
+2.
also +2. Okay, we have a +4. We now have expertise and choose stealth. We get another +2, so we double our proficiency. That's +6. It's so good.
I'll agree, it's one of my favorite features of the game.
So good.
It is such an awesome ability and a good way to just define your character in general with the mechanicals.
They get 2 more at 10th level.
Yeah.
I love how this has been adapted to the feats for skills. I just... Expertise is really cool to me.
Yes, it's a good ability.
And then they have ability score improvements. They have normal amount.
Standard amount, which is 5.
Yep, they have 5. That means they can get a maximum of 20 in a skill item.
Yeah.
Like anyone else.
They have 20 skill points if they only use it for ability score improvement.
Yeah, it's average. That's fine. Font of Inspiration, that's
what we talked about
inspiration
earlier.
Back. Counter Charm.
I feel so sad about this.
Counter Charm is the most fucking useless piece of shit ability I've ever seen on anything.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God. Okay, so you gain the ability to use musical notes or words of power to disrupt mind-influencing effects. As an action, let me specify your action. You can start a performance that lasts until the end of your next turn. So you can use your action next turn to do stuff. Interesting. During that time, you and any friendly creatures within 30 feet of you have advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed. A creature must be able to hear to gain this benefit. The performance ends early if you're incapacitated or silenced, or if you're you voluntarily ended.
Which requires no action.
Yeah, no action required. You just stop.
But still, it's just a horrible ability. It doesn't really do anything, and if allies are already charmed or frightened, it doesn't really help that much.
It helps them with the save at the end of the turn.
But some charms don't allow for that.
Exactly.
Dominate person. Right. You need to take damage first.
If there just was and they get to roll if they're already affected. So, it has one really narrow use. You are in a deal, you are making a contract with someone, and you suspect they are maybe going to try to charm you. So you have to Bard sit in the corner and play fucking music all the time.
But then again, people just be looking at you like, what the hell are you doing?
Why the fuck are you playing guitar right now? We are trying to figure out this fucking contract, and you are sitting there and with your fucking noodling. Please fucking stop. Oh,
I feel sad about this.
The ability is really cool. I love the idea that they're just sitting and being like, nah.
But it doesn't do enough.
But it's implemented very badly.
I would say it's implemented very poorly. It's just not useful enough in general cases and most cases.
I love the flavor hit the execution. Let's look at the Bard's capstone ability. What is a capstone ability, Eric?
It's your level 20 feature.
Yeah. When you hit level 20 in one class, you get a feature that is the biggest and baddest feature. Paladins get to turn into angels and deal damage. Barbarians get plus 4 to strength and constitution. That also increases their maximum. So that's fucking great.
And fighter gets an extra attack, so they can make 5 attacks. 4, sorry. Yeah. It's 5 if they're dual wielding.
Oh, yeah. Right, so some good shit is incoming. Superior inspiration. Oh, we're upgrading our base mechanics. When you roll initiative and have no uses of bardic inspiration left, you regain 1 use.
I feel there's an easy fix to this.
You regain all.
Not even that, just anytime you enter combat, if you're missing a bardic inspiration, you can just gain 1.
Whenever you roll initiative, you regain a bardic inspiration.
Yeah.
As much as I can say, whenever you roll initiative, regain all your bardic inspirations.
But yeah, I agree. As a capstone, it's not the best.
It's so fucking underwhelming.
It is really I wouldn't say there's other capstones.
Oh, there are other capstones that are dog shit as well.
I wouldn't say this is the worst. I would say
it's not.
It's still underwhelming, but it's not
It's a fascinating reason to multi-class after level.
It's not the end of the world. Let's just say
it's definitely not the end of the world. But it's not the end of the world for your enemies either. Nah. So, and in general, I think the core Bard class has a really solid loadout.
It has a solid.
Because again, we will cover on the worst at some point. Don't even worry.
I don't think we disagree on that one.
Sadly not. So they have a really solid ability, and the thing we didn't mention is that they are still a full fucking caster.
Yep.
Every level they get another known spell or another spell slot, right?
In general, their kit is just they have a lot compared to other full spellcasters.
All the stuff that I'm this is the worst shit ever. Counter charm, superior inspiration. Even if you remove that, Bards are still fucking great.
Yeah. And coupled with, they also get light armor proficiency and certain proficiency in weapons such as hand crossbows, rapiers, long swords, and short swords, and simple weapons.
I wish Bard had proficiency in improvised weapons, or at least musical instruments, but that's another time. So let's dive into probably the most fascinating part, the archetypes. Let's jump into archetypes. Aptly named colleges. That's a really loaded word to put up front. Right?
Yeah, well,
and let's be fair. They call it out very much. Bards form loose association, which they call colleges. to facilitate their gatherings and preserve their traditions. They aren't actual like universities. Some are, and I imagine some cities have large schools where they discuss stuff and like there are actual classes. Yeah, but most of the time, like it's like a lot of what's it called, like
having a master, tutoring you, or like, traveling around with a couple of people.
Yeah, like learning on your own. So we're starting on the College of Law. What is the College of Law, my friend?
The College of Law is perhaps the most skill monkey oriented. It's of the colleges in general.
Yeah. It's very versatile.
For starters, they get 3 extra skills.
Yeah, their first ability is called bonus proficiencies. They gain proficiency with 3 skills of your choice. So good.
Incredible good.
Like,
this helps them towards further going with the skill monkey build. And in general, you want to do this and a bit of that and over there, and you're just generally doing fine.
Yeah, it's so aggressively like, I wish I could do everything. You can now.
Yeah.
Their like defining feature is the second ability they get at 3rd level called Cutting Words. Probably the thing that makes me laugh the most in this game. Someone attacks you. You say you are an enormous asshole. You roll your inspiration die as your reaction.
Subtract.
Yeah, and subtract that. So
the roll.
The wording is, whenever a creature you can see within 60 feet of you makes an attack roll, an ability check, or damage roll. Damage roll is handy. You can use your reaction to expand one of your bardic inspiration, rolling a bardic inspiration die and subtracting the number of rolled from the creature's roll. You can choose to use this feature after the creature makes its roll, but before the DM determines whether the attack, whatever. They're immune if they can't hear you, or they're immune to being charmed. What's really handy here is you can see your friend with 5 HP take 7 damage, and you're like, you hit like a pussy. That deals 3 less damage.
In general, just the aggressive style of Cutting Words makes it a useful ability.
Yeah.
To be able to comprehend.
It's so disruptive.
Yeah, disrupt your enemies in general.
It's incredible. Like, imagine we're on a battlefield where you need to traverse something, or they like.
And this is not a spell. I should mention that also.
Yeah. Because this is just a thing they can do. It expensive use of the inspiration, but
incredible because you cannot counter it in any way. Then you don't have any use for it.
Yeah, it's really good. And then my favorite, like my absolute favorite thing these people get. So I mentioned I love magical secrets that you get at level 10 and 18. And
well, guess what College of Law gets?
Level 6. They get just an additional smattering of like magical secrets. Just get level 6, you get 2 more spells from any class. It's so good. I love it so much. You get to be so fucking versatile. Like, level 6, let's pick up this good healing spell and counter spell. You always pick counter spell with it, but that's okay.
Okay, you do that.
I always pick counter spell because I love counter spell.
And I'm a horrible person.
I think I'm the horrible person. Let's be fair.
Okay.
I'm the one counterspelling shit.
At level 14, the bards get their only use of that any bards. Oh, I'm sorry. Any bards can use where they use bardic inspiration. This is the next
ability called Peerless Skill. Level 14. When you make an ability check, you can expend 1 use of your bardic inspiration yourself. No one else gets that. You can just be like, oh, I fuck that skill check. 18. Right. Like, you get to
perfectionate yourself.
The really good thing about inspiration is that you get to do it after you roll. But before the result is announced, but after you roll.
Also, the fact that bards in general can use bardic inspiration on themselves, and this gives them the ability to overcome
this really lets them be egotistical.
Oh yeah, sure. As the class,
but at the same time, sometimes that is what you need, right? Sometimes you really badly need to persuade that guy, and we only have 1 bard, right? So College of Law Bards are they are this all-around skill monkey. Like, this is
the pinnacle of versatility.
Yeah, like this is how I imagine like the standard vanilla Bard, right?
Is a Bard builder kit.
Yeah, like build a Bard kit, right? This is, if you're going to play a Bard, you're likely going to be playing a Law Bard.
From before Xanathar's Guide came out, I would say it was the go-to in general.
Yeah, like I still think it is. I still think it's because it's so versatile, and again, the builder Bard kit, you can do whatever you want to. You can like build a weird ass cleric with it, right? We are building a law cleric in our Dragonhold Adventures. You can build a pretty effective law cleric out of this, right?
Yeah, sure.
Take some cleric spells, have cutting words.
Go with it.
Right. I really like law bards. And I think they are probably my favorite of dark types. So that is the first one in the PHP. Let's look at the next one in the PHP, the College of Valor.
And that is our bodybuilding sword fighting bards in general.
I wrote down a short description. The bard who realized that the Skull of Orcs is basically just drums.
Yeah.
Like, they are this supportive martial archetype. They are a more support-based battle master. They get, in level 3, they gain proficiency with medium armor, shields, and martial weapons.
Which lets them stick into the midst of combat without dying too quickly.
That's like an easy 16 AC and a good weapon.
Yep.
Right. And they get combat inspiration, which is also really, really good.
I have noticed that.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So
it's incredibly powerful. I would say it's the most powerful ability in the kit.
Yeah, this is the core Valor thing. But yeah, a creature that has bardic inspiration dies from you. So it doesn't affect you, but it helps your friends out a lot. So they can use it when they make a weapon damage roll. Additionally, when an attack roll is made against them, they can use their reaction and roll it to reduce...
increase the AC.
The wording is not that important, but it specifically increases their AC.
Yes.
After seeing that attack roll. So it's like, I roll 22 against you. I'm like, I have 18 AC. Roll a d6.
High roll, let's get out of this.
It's really, really good.
The second ability they get is extra attack, which is fairly common among the martial archetypes.
It's the only spellcaster to have extra attack.
Yeah, besides Bladesinger wizards.
Do they get that?
Yes, they get.
Sweet.
The funny thing about Bladesinger wizards and College of Valor bards in general, when talking about extra attack, is they get it a level later than the martial archetypes.
I find it really... it's for balance reason. I also find it, philosophically interesting, right?
You're still a full spellcaster.
The fighter of my team gets it, then I pick it up a level later. I kind of like that. But also, do you know what Valor Bards get in level 5? Level 3 spells.
Yep.
Fuck extra attack. Level 3 spells is good. But extra attack is so good. Yeah.
Indeed. And when they get further down the line, at level 14, they get battle magic.
Yeah.
Which essentially lets you trade your extra attack and instead you cast a spell.
Yeah. It uses your bonus action. So when you use your action to cast a bard spell, you get to attack with you get to make one weapon attack with your bonus action. It's not a lot, but it's so handy.
If you have a good magic weapon.
Yeah. Especially earlier on, you are like, I could hit you 2 times or I could do this spell. Here you get to I'm going to have to use this disruption spell here, but then I also get to move over to you and hit you.
It's the middle way, and
right? It lets you do more,
and also the fact that it's a spell and not a cantrip.
Yeah,
so good.
Oh yeah, right. Because bards don't do cantrips.
The only other class that gets near to this is actually the Eldritch Knight subclass for the fighters. And I
think that's basically the other way around.
That's the more arcane version. Yeah. But they're way more limited, their third level spellcaster.
Eldritch Knight is the fighter that gets into arcane stuff. But they get War Magic, which is their version. When you use your action to cast a cantrip, you make an weapon attack. I thought it was when you make a weapon attack, you can use your bonus action to make a cantrip. No.
It's the other way around.
They get it in 18, improved War Magic. When you use your action to cast a spell, you can make it. No, they don't. Then they get Battle Magic.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
they get the same.
Yeah.
The point is just that they can choose between 4 attacks or a spell and attack.
But
in general, the fighter is more capable of withstanding hits.
For example, a larger hit dice. As Mahmoud, one of the mods in chat who is playing a bard in one of the games, says, when you use Battle Magic, you don't have your bonus action to use Healing Word or Inspire. But
you could technically still heal. It just had to be a healing spell with a casting time of 1 action.
Right. But the bonus action is stocked up, but let's remember, like, you only, like, maximum have 6 inspirations every day.
I wouldn't say, because of the fund of inspiration.
You
get to take the short rests.
Yeah. 6 inspirations per short rest, right?
Yeah.
So that's 6 inspirations spread over, let's say, 2 battles. There are still bonus actions where you would like to hit.
Yes.
So
there would certainly be.
Yeah. So that's the PHP. We have the like build about very versatile guy and the
one speccing into fighter.
Yeah, where you start picking up swords and shields.
Just the good part about it is just getting proficiency all martial weapons. A lot of classes does that, but just getting it from a subclass is incredible good.
Yeah,
I can see you're switching out to the Santa Fe guides.
Because we are finished with the player's handbook. So
the first one there is the College of Glamour, which is the Fey caster.
Yep.
The Charm Master.
The Charm Master, the Fey caster.
Suave.
It has a little warning. It's not that large, but they have a tendency to grow mad with power. I am not being mind controlled. Please don't send help.
You know, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolute.
Do not fuck with the Fae, trust me. We've been to Ireland, we don't want to go back. I haven't been to Ireland.
Okay.
Been close enough that I don't want to go.
Well, the College of Glamorbard get some interesting things. First and foremost, they get their Barding Inspiration use, which is essentially an AoE buff for all their teammates. First of all, they get around 5 temporary hit points for starters. That increases.
Mantle of Inspiration.
Yes, that's what's the name.
So bonus action, they use
Barding Inspiration?
Yep. And you choose a number of creatures you can see within 60 feet of you, up to a number equal to a Charisma modifier. Each of them gain 5 temporary HP. Whenever a creature gains these temporary hit points, it can immediately use its reaction to move up to its speed without provoking opportunity attacks. And then the temporary hit points increases later on. That's really fucking handy.
The good thing about it is an AoE ability for the Bardic Inspiration use. So you can affect multiple of your allies at the same time with a single use of Bardic Inspiration. They all get to reinforce or retreat, advance. In addition, with
they get to spend their reaction to move and not have that provoke opportunity attacks.
Which is fairly strong.
It's really good.
Not provoking opportunity attacks is a staple of things I would like to have.
One of the problems with retreating in D&D is opportunity attacks. This just is like, guys, want to retreat? I can get us out of here.
Yes.
Right. At level 3. That's really strong.
Also, it's technically a free dash for everyone if they want to, with the addition of temporary hit points.
Yeah.
If you really want to charge that enemy now, sure, go ahead.
That's good. Their other level 3 ability is Enthralling Performance.
I have a player that would love that.
I love the requirements for it. If you perform for at least 1 minute, you can attempt to inspire wonder in your audience by singing, reciting a poem, or dancing. At the end of the performance, choose a number of humanoids within 60 feet of you who watched and listened to all of it, up to a number equal to a charisma modifier. So, choose a number of people who have watched you sing. Maximum of 10, theoretically. They must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell DC or be charmed by you. While they are charmed this way, The target idolizes you. They speak glowingly of you to anyone who talks to them, and it hinders anyone who opposes you, although it avoids violence, unless it was already inclined to fight on your behalf.
They won't become your personal guard.
Yeah, but they will like get in between you and stuff.
They'll be like, hey, why are you doing this? Stop! Leave this man alone.
This effect ends on a target after 1 hour if it takes any damage, if you attack it, or if it witnesses you attacking or damaging any of its allies.
I should note that is actually a potential threat, because if you have technically charmed some guards, and you're trying to break in with the guards and you end up fighting them, you end up removing the effect from your charmed ones.
Do you want to know what the best line of this ability is? If a target succeeds on its saving throw, the target has no hint that you tried to charm it.
Yes. It's actually a quite lovely for a level 3 ability.
Is it level 14 enchantment wizards that get that?
No, they get alter memory, as far as I remember.
They also, I'm pretty sure they get something where people don't notice that afterwards.
Oh yeah, sure. They also do that. I mean, they get that at a lower level though. Yeah.
So it's so good, because that is the drawback on
most enchantment spells.
Yup. Once per short or long rest.
Yeah, which is quite good. Such spells that even as suggestion, the people remember that you charmed them with it. They don't know it's specifically a charm, but they know they were
something was wrong.
Something was wrong, you know.
Also, this is just really cool RP ability.
Incredible.
I love it.
This is for the guy who wants to have this city RPG running around and immersing the masses for his entertainment and or for his plans.
This is a ribbon, and a ribbon that I love.
It's a good ribbon.
Not actually a ribbon ability, but it's not always useful. But if you're playing a specific kind of bard, Courage of Glimmer bard, you can get into situations where it's amazing. So, at level 6, they get Mantle of Majesty. I love the Glimmer names. They are fucking amazing.
That's because they relate to the Fae.
I like the Fae. You gain the ability to cloak yourself in a Fae magic that makes others want to serve you. As a bonus action, you cast Command without expending a spell slot, and you take on an appearance of unearthly beauty for 1 minute.
For the next minute, you can keep casting Command as a bonus action without expending spell slots.
Yep. Once per long rest, you can just be like, I can cast Command as a bonus action all the time.
That's 10 uses of Command.
Yeah. Really handy. Any creature charmed by you automatically fails its saving throw against the command you cast with this feature. So you use Enthralling Performance first, and then you start commanding them.
Then it gets a lot easier.
You do 10 push-ups. You do 10 push-ups. You do 10 push-ups.
Sadly, command is one word, as far as I remember.
Damn it! Push up, and damn it, that's not.
Everybody jump!
Simon says, jump!
Get down! Prone! Fall!
It's there is a one word like thing in the command description that is get down. Grovel.
Yeah.
What is the best things in life? To see your enemies drown before you grovel. Like just grovel. Lay down.
Yeah.
It's
quite good. I would say it's among one.
Also, it's really fucking good in combat.
Yeah, it is. I would say it's actually one of the
It's a bonus action.
I would say it's one of the best ability any bard could get.
It's so fucking good.
Yes.
Like
the spells can still be countered though.
Oh yeah, but you still have your action.
Yeah.
And in level 14 they get Unbreakable Majesty. Your appearance permanently gains an otherworldly aspect that makes you look more lovely and fierce. I love that, lovely and fierce.
You know, the Fae are quite beautiful.
I love it.
They all also look quite terrifying.
So, in addition, you can spend your bonus action to assume a magically majestic presence for 1 minute until you are incapacitated. For the duration, whenever any creature tries to attack you for the first time on a turn, they must make a charisma saving throw against your spell save DC. On a fail, they can't attack you on this turn, and they must choose a new target for its attack, or it's wasted. On a successful save, they can still attack you. But they have disadvantage on any saving throw it makes against your spell on your next turn.
I talked a bit about this before the stream, and I think it's a very good defensive ability, but as an offensive, it has niche because the problem is if you're fighting an intelligent creature, he or she or them will just start focusing down your allies.
But that's the fucking good part, because the bard is a squishy idiot.
I would not say such squishy as comparable to the wizard sorcerer.
But compared to a fighter.
Yeah, sure.
Right, like.
But the problem if you're already on the.
Oh, did we mention
downside?
this recharges on a short rest?
No, you didn't mention that.
What the fuck?
It's an incredible powerful ability in the later game where you get it.
I am not actually angry about that. I'm just amazed that it's like, oh yeah, short rest.
I don't.
It's really good.
It's powerful, but it's powerful in an egotistical way because you're enforcing an intelligent enemy to target your allies, and if your allies are doing badly already or poorly in general, they will die. Because of you.
You are not going to kill anyone with it, but you are going to not get hit nearly as much.
Yeah.
And that's
AoE spells.
Yeah.
You're still gonna be prone to making those saving throws.
Absolutely. But no one will hit you nearly as much.
Not directly.
So, from a charming idiot to just an idiot, the College of Swords. Circus.
To be honest, I'll say the College of Swords is one of my favorite bard subclasses.
The College of Swords is just so fucking rad.
Just for the flavor.
It's so silly and I love it. The College of Swords, you just get to describe cool shit. Right?
They're mini battle master.
Right. But
with full spellcasting.
Right. So they are referred to as blades, and they are this Cirque du Soleil performer that throw knives and shit.
Swallowing swords.
Yeah, it's a sword swallower, right? That is the kind of people that would perform a sword fight in the circus.
Yes.
And so they gain bonus proficiencies. They gain proficiency with medium armor and the scimitar. If you're proficient with a simple or martial melee weapon, you can use it as spellcasting focus for your bard spells.
Basically, you get free Warcaster without the extra benefits that Warcaster gets.
You don't want those anyway.
But you don't want those anyway, so...
They are very good, but... So, you are a dual-wielding, scimitar-wielding motherfucker.
Full caster.
Yes. What's not to love?
You get some you get a fighting style, but you don't have a lot of choices as the fighter paladin ranger does.
Yeah. But you get the two best. Or at least the two most applicable here.
Two that's fitting.
Dueling and two weapon fighting.
Dueling is just a +2 to damage rolls if you're only wielding one weapon, and dual wielding lets you add your damage modifier to your second attack.
So let you add your strength or dex to your offhand attacks.
Yeah, depending on what you're using.
So the really silly thing they get is Blade Flourish. You learn to perform impressive displays of martial prowess and speed. Whenever you take the attack action on your turn, your walking speed increases by 10 feet until the end of the turn. And if a weapon attack that you make as part of this action hits a creature, you can use one of the following Blade Flourish options of your choice. You can only use one Blade Flourish option per turn. So, whenever you attack, you get extra movement speed, and if you hit, you get to use one of these three options.
So point out that you use you attack first, then you get the 10 extra to move around, maneuver, or retreat.
Yeah. Your walking speed increases.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
whenever you take the attack.
Yeah, so you make the attack, and then your speed increases to move around afterwards.
Yes.
Yes. Or you can just hit yourself to run faster, like any good barbarian.
How suicidal can you be today?
Well, so, there are three flourishes. Let's start with the alphabetical order, because that's how the book does it.
Defensive flourish.
You can expend one use of your bardic inspiration to cause the weapon to deal extra damage to the target you hit. This damage equals the number you roll on the bardic inspiration die. You also add the number rolled to your AC until the start of your next turn.
You don't want to get hit? It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm when I first read this, I was just like, why does it increase the... Oh, so the extra damage is just a fucking bonus on to the AC thing. That's so good.
I feel like the defensive flourish is an incredible ability. It's a mixed match of two of the battle masters maneuvers into one.
It's wonderful. Slashing flourish. You can expend one use of your bardic inspiration to cause the weapon to deal extra damage to the target you hit and to any other creatures of your choice that you can see within 5 feet of you. Reach does not affect this, sadly. So no whipping. The damage equals to the number you roll on the bardic inspiration die. So
that means that you can roll a d12
yeah.
to all around, and a d12 in bonus
so
to the target.
You roll one dice. That dice gets added to the attack against your one target, and you choose another creature within 5 feet of you, and they take the extra, the same that you rolled. That's just really good.
It's lovable.
It's just that guy is really fucking hurt, and his best friend isn't. Let's see if we can take both.
Yeah, get both.
Yeah. Mobile Flourish. The same, you can expend Bardic Inspiration to cause extra damage to target you hit. The damage is whatever you roll. Fine. You can also push the target up to 5 feet away from you, plus a number of feet equal to the number you roll on that die. You can then immediately use your reaction to move up to your walking speed to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the target. So, we're going over there. That's just...
I would say early on it's not the best, but later levels where your bardic inspiration increases to a d12, as an example, you get the ability to push at least 7.
It's a 5-foot shove.
It's enough to get.
It's at least a 5-foot shove, right? And they can't prevent it.
True.
If you hit them, you get to push them.
That's the good part about it.
Right.
I would say it most utility used for or defensive for when you want to help your allies get out of any opportunity attack.
Yeah, or he's standing over one of my friends who's hurt.
Yes.
Let's prevent that. Right. So they are all they aren't amazing abilities. None of them I'm going to use this one all the time. But the beauty is that you have 3 and it's in your toolbox and you can use them whenever they are needed, right?
Yes.
And that's really sweet.
I'll agree.
Yeah.
For the 14th level ability...
You forgot the 6th level ability, which is extra attack.
Oh, it says itself.
Fucking extra attack. It's good.
3 attacks per turn if they deal
people?
Let's just not disagree.
Do you like hitting people when you are playing a martial bard? Would you like to hit them 100% more? Extra attack is amazing.
Most people would agree.
Yeah. So at 14th, whenever you use a Blade Flourish option, you can roll a d6 and use it instead of expending a Bardic Inspiration die. What? So what did you say? Did you say I can just use my Bardic Inspiration to help my friends and just keep using Blade Flourishes every fucking turn?
Yes. The good thing about this is just you basically have unending amounts of Bardic Inspiration.
It's so good. Would you It's really fucking great.
You get infinite amount of resources.
Yeah, because that's the resource management you do as a College of Swords, right? You have to balance it, right? And okay, I really want to help my friend here, but I need the extra AC. What can I do?
And
but having this really helps.
It actually comforts very well with the extra attack gained at the 6th level, because you still get 2 attacks. Then you can, if you're dual wielding, you lose out on the 3rd attack. Mm. But if let's say you just went for the dueling and perhaps wielding a one-handed rapier and nothing else, it's just a favorable matchup for you. Then you just keep on using your standard Bardic Inspiration.
You can still one Blade Flourish per turn.
Yes.
Just so that is clear, it's not per attack. That would probably be broken. So it's College of Valor, but different, right? They are different types of fighters.
The College of Valor is more focused on still keeping the spellcasting and support ability towards their friends, whereas the College of Swords is more centered focus on themselves and less spellcasting with their action economy.
They are... I think the College of Valor is more of a fighter. The College of Swords is more of a rogue, right?
Rogue or monk, I would say.
Right, yeah, monk might actually, where mobility is very important and movement around the battlefield.
Yes. I would say rogues are more compatible to a one-trick pony in most cases.
I do not know what you're talking about.
Okay. Fine.
Mister, I miss my sneak attack every turn. Yeah. So, in Magic the Gathering, there is a set called Ravnica where there are 10 guilds. One of them don't exist, and they are Dimir and they are spies. If Dimir was in D&D, they would be the College of Whispers. College of Whispers don't exist. No, there doesn't exist any College of Whispers.
No, it doesn't. They're hated by all other bards.
Yes. Bards hate the College of Whispers. Like, they are parasite that like abuse their like reputation to get power and wealth, and they are fucking amazing.
In general,
They are so cool.
if you want to play an evil bard, the College of Whisper is it's definitely a go-to if you ask me.
I just really love the idea of a bard being like, oh yeah, I studied law with Mr. Miyagi. I'm totally a law bard, right? Like, kind of trying to pass it off. I love that.
They're the best.
It is an
deceptive
archetype that is like playing the character concept of a class that you're not, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of funny to me. But outside of that, they are really cool spies. Like,
They get some of the best mechanics, comparable even to most rogues,
Yeah.
if you ask me.
it is like they typically claim to follow some other college, or they keep their actual calling secret in order to infiltrate and exploit royal courts and other settings to power. So like this is the royal joker, but the one you don't see, right?
Yes.
It's really sweet. So in level 3, they get psychic blades.
Which is their use for bardic inspiration.
You gain the ability to make your weapon attacks magically toxic to a creature's mind. That sentence is just delicious. But outside of that, whenever you hit a creature with weapon attacks, you can expend one of your use of bardic inspiration to deal an extra 2d6 psychic damage to that target. You can do so only once per round on your turn. So it's not like sneak attack in that you can use it on opportunity
Multiple
attacks.
rounds, but it's basically a sneak
You
attack.
Kind of get a shitty version of sneak attack here.
Yes, it does, however.
And it's psychic damage.
Yeah, it does psychic damage, which is fairly uncommon
And
as a
it
resistance.
scales. So at 15, you get 3d6, 5d6 at 10, 8d6 at 15. So it scales when your bardic inspiration die increases. But it's not 2d8, 2d10. It's amount of d6s.
Which is fine.
Yep. That's
It's
just because
actually-
most people have more d6s, right?
Also that. But I think it's compatible and it feels very well with the rogues scaling.
I just, like it's
It actually
about the
does.
same, except it has more.
The rogues get more, and the rogues have more restrictions also.
Like, the rogue takes smaller steps, right?
Yes.
Where this is like one step, one step, right?
They jump more in frequency and power.
Yeah. So, their other ability, the fucking weirdest thing ever, and I love it, Words of Terror. You learn to infuse innocent seeming words with an insidious magic that can inspire terror. So this is the, like, in the thriller movies you see, I know what you did last night. And they just die. So, if you speak to a humanoid alone,
For at least one.
wonderful clause, for at least 1 minute, you can attempt to seed paranoia in their minds. At the end of the conversation, the target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC, or be frightened of you or another creature of your choice. The target is frightened in this way for an hour until it is attacked or damaged, or until it witnesses its allies being attacked or damaged. If the target succeeds on its saving throw, the target has no hint that you tried to frighten it, outside of you being a real creep.
Yes. So you want to come down to the stables alone?
Yeah, like, they might still be afraid, but they're not frightened, right?
Yes.
Once per short or long rest. It's really cool.
It's like the ribbon ability from the glamour, just in the opposite direction
Right.
and working on a single target.
It would be amazing for like a one-player campaign.
It actually was. I kind of think of Batman by now, just instilling
Right.
fear in a target.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's so good. And I imagine having this top-down view, like in the Arkham games, where you hear the guards talking to each other and freaking themselves out, right? So, level 6, Mantle of Whispers. At 6th level, you gain the ability to adopt a humanoid's persona. When a humanoid dies within 30 feet of you, you can magically capture its shadow using your reaction. You retain the shadow until you use it or you finish a long rest. You can use the shadow as an action. When you do so, it vanishes magically transforming... into a disguise that appears on you. You now look like the dead person, but healthy and alive. They had to specify, but healthier and alive.
Yes, they did.
And I love it.
And also
just the playtesting situations. The disguise lasts for 1 hour until you end it as a bonus action.
Yes. Good thing about it is you also get the surface memories and information from the dead person, so you can pass yourself off as being them.
You gain access to all information that the humanoid would freely share with a casual acquaintance. Such information includes general details on its background and personal life, but doesn't include secrets. The information is enough that you can pass yourself off as the person by drawing on its memories. Then there's they can see through their disguise by doing an insight check. Against your deception, you have +5.
So you have a bonus.
Once you capture a shadow, you can capture another one until you finish a short long rest.
Yeah. But anyway, you can only keep it until you finish a long rest. Then you lose
what
it again.
What the fuck, dude?
So it's incredible infiltration potential.
Dude, you wanna be a murderer?
Not even just that, but if you really need to infiltrate this place.
I wanna see the single player campaign with this.
So all the party is captured currently. You manage to break out. Yeah, sure. You know they're going to be on a prison transport. You take the shadow of one of the guards you killed, and then you escort them towards, let's just say, the wagon or whatever they've been transported in. And then you take over from there saying, you have been dismissed.
This feels like a crazy fucking Assassin's Creed mission.
Yes.
And I want it so bad.
Their potential is abnormal.
I don't think I can describe it by any other word than fucking rad. It's just awesome. Then Shadow Law at level 40. It's such a good name!
I don't know what to say about that ability.
It's so cool. So, you gain the ability to weave dark magic into your words and tap into a creature's darkest fears. As an action, you magically whisper a phrase that only one creature of your choice within 30 feet of you can hear. The target must make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. They automatically succeed if they can't speak to you, can't hear, whatever. On successful saving throw, they just hear random whispers and it has no effect. On a failed saving throw, they are charmed by you for 8 hours or until you or your allies attack it, damage it, or force it to make a saving throw. It interprets the whispers as a description of its most mortifying secret. You gain no knowledge of this secret, but the target is convinced you know it. The charmed creature obeys your commands for fear that you reveal its secret. It won't risk its life for you or fight for you unless it was already inclined to do so. It grants you favors and gifts it would offer to a close friend. When the effect ends, the creature has no understanding of why it held you in such fear. Once per long rest. I don't know if it's actually really good or just really cool.
I think in my campaigns it would be wonderful. Let's just say that.
So, yeah, because you have a lot of
intrigue and political
stuff with kingdoms and stuff.
My
world has one king. Good.
But yeah, in general, just the ability to just...
I also just love the idea of... Hey, I know about that thing under your bed.
Yeah, it's like, no, you. I know you.
It's so good. And they don't know why they feared you. They just know they were fucking afraid.
Yes. Just imagine this. You need this, not perhaps a magical item or something, but just a rare item that's not really useful for the most part, but holds some symbolic relevance. And you need it for certain someone that you've been sent out by or something, and you've been hired or contracted to get this item. And you're just like, fuck this. This is gonna be way harder if we try to bruise our way in. just you find one of the guards or one of the higher ups of this place and just charm him with this.
And just
go like,
I know you're attracted to your sister.
And he's like, shit.
Right? Like,
better give him this item now.
It's so good.
It's better to do this.
But what's really interesting is where I really want a situation where someone uses this and they're like, this thing is so important that I won't do it. And they just like confess and reveal their secrets.
Yeah, there's a potential for that.
Right,
also.
And it's not written into the ability at all.
No, I would roleplay that totally.
It would be amazing.
Like, if people think that why wouldn't they...
Something you believe in so strong that this, like, deepest secret of yours, you're willing to die for it, right?
Oh, not willing to die.
No, but, like...
Unless they were inclined. It's an easy way if you're having someone who's not compatible with your party, or you're having a prisoner you're transporting, and then suddenly you are assaulted by a big beast of the wild or monster.
Wouldn't they potentially try to silence you? So, maybe, but the thing is that they are fucking frightened. They are like they are basically so anxious that they can't think straight.
Yeah.
Right.
It's called panic.
I have this recording of you. It's on this camera. And on like 10 different cloud servers.
It would be it would be the same. Let's just say that.
Right. Like it's magically like they are like, oh shit, I'm afraid. And then the magic just like turns the fear up.
Also that. And in addition, you get they treat you like a close friend. So that means you get a lot of favors you can do if they're not combat related. You get the opportunity to go
you,
places.
You would bake them pancakes.
I will literally murder you. Don't ever talk about my pancakes.
Don't you make pancakes for your close friends?
No. Well, no matter the point. Let's get on with it.
So, mechanical rating of archetypes. Play the fucking one you like the most. The one that you look at and think, oh, I see cool shit here. What we are talking about is what we think is...
This is our personal opinions. Yeah. I would say the Bards are fairly, as said before, they sit fairly good in B and A tier with all their subclasses.
And I don't think there's any class that has archetypes where it's like, oh, that's absolutely dog shit and you should not play that.
Yeah. Like the only dog shit ability for the Bard, if we're talking about that, Counter Charm.
But still, it has its uses, maybe.
Potentially.
And yeah, it's not like this archetype is awful, right?
No.
All of the archetypes are pretty good. So let's start. Which one do you think is the worst?
The worst is kind of hard to figure out. I would say it's easier to find the best one.
Law Bards.
Yeah.
Law Bards are just...
Law Bards, agreed. And then I would say the Glamour Bards are like right next to them. I feel their charming abilities and their potential, if you want to play them right, makes them for an incredible strong, also because of their magical capabilities.
I don't think they're nearly as good, but I think I would put them one step down.
I would say they're still above the rest in most cases.
If Law Bard was a 5, like out of 5, right? Law Bard's 5, 4.5, I would have Glamour, and then the rest at 4.
Yeah, I'll agree on that one.
Because
I don't really think they have a worst in any case.
Because the reason I ask that is to point that out. They all seem fairly good. Like Valor is, oh, I want to do this niche, right? And it's reasonable. And Swords, I want to do this niche. Shadows, Whispers, I want to do this niche. And
if I potentially actually had to say a worst, I would say it's the Whispers, and not because they're bad, but because they don't fit into all campaigns. And if you come to a very combat-oriented campaign with not a lot of roleplay, you're gonna have a bad time.
Like a mechanical rating, I think I think the College of Whispers is mechanically the weakest abilities, but the fucking coolest.
Yeah, they have some
So I think,
potentially
like,
coolest abilities.
Let's say A, lore, A minus glamour, B, valor and swords, B minus whispers. I think that's fine.
I would agree.
So
I think valor and swords are too close to each other in some places.
right, it's like
they both fill the same niche, just in different ways.
Yeah, and as dear Mod Maki said, like, Bard is the only class that makes me want to replay them just to try the subclasses. I agree. They are so cool. Like, and that's different from, like, I see wizards, they are like there to necromancy and all the rest.
I don't. I see a lot of reasons to replay most classes.
They're all really cool, but I don't, like, I'm not really dragged to them.
I think that's just personal opinion in general.
And I think that's just because both me and Margaret fucking love Bards.
And I don't.
Yeah.
And as in, I wouldn't want to play them as much.
Yeah. And that's fine. So, let's pitch a Bard here. If I say, I'm starting a new game, you have to play a Bard.
I'm going with a lore Bard already.
So.
But I would perhaps try to make a character. As I said before, I have a tendency to dislike the stereotype about goofball, so I might try to go for a bit more serious character. I would perhaps go for a speaker, not an entertainer in that regard, but a storyteller, and deeply engaged. This bookworm carrying his bags of tales and traditions from all over the world. I'd perhaps go with a more glamorous race, such as a half-elf. And then I would be a lollygagging and kind of down-to-earth guy, I think. I would perhaps pitch most of my skills in towards, of course, charisma abilities. Afterwards, I would perhaps go for intelligence. There's going for this branch between not a strong, compatible fighter, but this guy just strolling around and telling us a lot of stuff and knows a lot of things. Just in general, being able to sassy his way in sometimes, but otherwise, just go with the flow. Being the supportive cast.
Kind of a typical uncle, right?
Yes.
Like the uncle that you really like and look up to.
This is the grandpa in 30 years.
Right, yeah. So, I have one. He's a shy boy. A shy boy called Frederick. He's like long black hair and very curious. He has always loved playing the lute, and he studied under a in a large school of wizardry, and he got real fucking bored. It's really exciting subjects, but man, like the music classes are so much more fun, and that's not here. So went out on his own and learned playing music and doing storytelling, and he's still very fascinated about the arcane. So his goal in life is he wants a magical education, but he doesn't want it their way. He wants to go out and experience it, learn all, like, there's all these fucking ruins scattered around the world. Like, let's go explore that. There's probably really interesting stuff we can learn about in there, right? And he would have stuff like counterspell and dispel magic, stuff like that. I just like counterspell.
I would definitely go for things such as legend lore and being the guy who's, we need this information. I'll get it.
Right, yeah. I remember, I don't know. I think I don't remember what game it was in or if it was an archetype, but I just remember having this ability in something it's RPG related, where a character was better at researching things in libraries.
That is an ability from a background, as far as I think.
That might be. I loved that idea of going to a library and just playing. That just makes me laugh, and I think that would be a really great part of an adventuring party, because what he wants is information, right? He's a curious piece of shit, and would also work very well as an alternative party phase. And a useful character who does a lot of little shit. And make sure people don't die. My friend. Now, at the end of all our class reviews. Let's just... Bards, are they absolute dog shit? No.
No, they're not.
Bards are a viable and wonderful class, and we have given you a lot of our thoughts on them. If you want to play a Bard, play a fucking Bard. That is going to be the conclusion for all of these videos, right?
In general, yes, because in 5th edition, there's no class that is certainly
turns
worse.
Out they have a lot of experience making role-playing games, and all stuff is viable.
But yeah, so, you want to be the versatile guy who can do a bit of everything, Bard is your way to go.
Yeah. So what we do at the end of these episodes is that we have a biased rating of classes that we have rated so far. So we have so far rated Barbarians and Bards. So how would you rate these two classes?
Compared
to each other.
Well, I'm a martial guy, so I'll definitely go with the Barbarian.
Bard. So Barbarian number 1, Bard number 2?
Yes.
I am exactly the opposite.
I know that. But
right. And that's why I think slowly ranking this is going to be interesting.
Of course.
So the next class episode will be on clerics, and that's going to be interesting.
Praise the Lord.
Ave Maria. That was
clerics are awesome.
Yeah.
I love clerics.
Clerics are really cool.
They're my favorite spellcasters.
Yeah.
With the next one being warlocks.
I don't think they're my favorite spellcasters, but I at least love them, as an idea and what they do to affect the world. So, that's been How to DM the World.
Yeah.
My name is Jacob, the beautiful man, Jake, also known as many other things. I'm Eric, the guy. Who the fuck is that?